guys, and welcome back to another video today. What's going on, everyone? I hope you guys are all well. Had a great bank holiday weekend. I don't know if I've spoken to you since then, but obviously hope you all smashed your weekend and obviously had a great one with family, had a great one with friends, had a great one with anyone. Even if you just spent it on your own, cool. I'm all for that. You do you and all that. But this video today is a series that I started last year. Yes, I know it's been a year, that it's taken me a year to sort of want to bring it back, but last year I wasn't getting the views and stuff like that for it, but I think that was because it was kind of more or less slapped together in a not really a very professional way. I'm trying to make it more kind of more info from my part to your part, but obviously football fans alike will know obviously pretty much everything that I'm about to say, but apart from like where I give my own opinion and everything, that's all what makes this kind of unique in a, I don't know, I wanted to increase my uploads, and this was another way of, being able to interact with you guys and obviously hopefully gain some kind of, more opinions, and obviously gain perhaps learn some new things. But it's going to be called the Premier League. I don't know whether it's going to be called the Premier League Weekend Show or just the Weekend Show, where I possibly might live stream it. Who knows? I might start live streaming it. Might start live streaming just in general. So if you haven't already, I will leave links to my socials down below, my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I haven't really got Snapchat or anything like that. I have got it, but I don't really use it. So yeah. But jumping straight into this video, it's a very kind of standard video where state the teams, state the fixtures, and just basically give you a general overview of where I see the game being won and how I see the game being won and how many goals I see being scored. And if that's not really simple enough for you, perhaps the channel or this series might not be for you. But with that being said, let's jump straight into the first fixture. So the first fixture is Southampton against Manchester United. It's the early kickoff on Saturday, so I'm not sure if it's on Sky or not, but if it is on Sky, I'll obviously try and watch it somewhere or whatever. Both teams have got wins this year, obviously that's, to throw that out there, but both teams have not actually played to their full potential, so it's a tough one for me to call, but also an easy one at that, all in the same. I'm expecting Manchester United to have too much for Southampton, though it is live at Southampton, obviously they're at home. I expect Manchester United to win 2-1. I think that's generally a fair result. I think they'll just have too much for them, and I think obviously looking at their squad, not necessarily the depth, but just looking at the starting lineups and the subs bench, you can make your own opinions. And obviously, speaking of your opinions, leave yours of all the games that I cover today down in the description, down in the comments, whatever. It's down there somewhere. But the next game we have is Chelsea against Sheffield United, which again, both teams, they couldn't be more different, or they couldn't be any less, they're very sort of similar in many ways, but also different, because obviously they're both carrying a wealth of experience. Obviously Chelsea carrying the experience of I'm not going to name names, but they you guys know, and I think that being said, as Chelsea are at home, I think it's going to be I'm not going to say comfortable, because I don't think Chelsea are going to be as comfortable as some people make out, and some people, certainly in the pundits and the media and everything, they sort of seem to always, they never give Arsenal any credit, yet they give everyone else so much. But it might be the same for your team. You might see, you might say, oh, my team don't get no credit and whatever and this and that, but everyone else does. But I see Chelsea winning 2-1, and that's, obviously this is the first of the 3 o'clock kickoff, so that'll be kicking off at 3 o'clock on Saturday. Crystal Palace coming off an absolute worldie win against Manchester United, against Aston Villa, so that's another battle between two relatively stable, settled sides. So, and you would say that obviously, looking at the results that Villa had last year and the teams that they were beating last year, but you could hoping that they will transfer that into the Premier League, and hoping they'll be able to pick up points, enough points for them to stay in the Premier League, obviously, for more than just the one season. Because obviously, I know you do get the parachute fund and everything and whatever, and it still works out for you and stuff, but there's nothing like playing Premier League football and nothing like the standard of the Premier League. So, that being said, I think Palace seem a lot more comfortable and a lot more confident within their side, that they've got more of a settled side. So I see them taking this comfortably, going on to get the vital 3 points. Again, at this stage of the season, all points are very vital, and who knows, 1 point here, 1 point there could be the difference between finishing, you know, at the bottom of the table, finishing like in the relegation zone, or just creeping out of it, maybe, you know, finishing a point above it or whatever, or at the top half of the table, obviously, as we know, finishing in the top 4, or the, you know, anywhere from the top 6 to the top 8 as such, after, you know, the top 4 and that. But Crystal Palace to win this 2-0, I think that, as I said, I think they're going to take it fairly comfortably. I don't think, you know, there's not going to be, they are a hard side, Villa, you know, it's not, you know, again, don't mean any disrespect at all. I know I've said that quite a lot, but I really don't mean any disrespect at all. I've just got, you know, I've got a feeling that Crystal Palace will use that momentum from beating Man United, albeit it might have been, you know, a last minute winner, you know, whatever. And to be fair, the main thing is they got they got that W, didn't they? So that being said, Crystal Palace 2-0 against Aston Villa. Next game, Leicester City against Bolton, against Bournemouth. Fuck's sake. Next game is Leicester against Bournemouth. I think, you know, given the struggles, I know you could say obviously they put their kids out in the cup and obviously and whatever, but I'm not sure if they did. I can't comment on it. I don't know if they did or not. And obviously that, with that being said, I've got a soft spot. I can't lie. I've got a soft spot for Leicester City. You know, I think everyone sort of has, after they won the league, and the way they did it and the manner they did it. It was, you know, when they did win the league, it was just absolutely incredible. So it was incredible stuff, incredible to not necessarily be a part of, but to witness, you know, week in, week out, them getting them W's, getting them draws, and not losing many, to be fair. And that's why I think, and what they've done in the transfer window, you know, the summer window just gone, I think that they bought and they invested that 80 million they got for Maguire in areas where they perhaps were struggling last year. I don't know, I mean, obviously, you know, you follow as much as you can, and obviously you get, you know, only not here, but you only see what you want to see as such, you know, and I think a lot of fans are like that. They see what they want to see, and it's not necessarily a true reflection perhaps on what actually had happened. But that being said, I see not many teams beating Leicester to be fair this year. I don't think, you know, I think Leicester are going to be a solid side under Brendan Rodgers. I think they've got the right manager in, certainly, to do the job that they obviously wanted him to do, and they, you know, I think he's probably one of the best in the biz. So Leicester to win 2-0. If some might say that's a bit unfair, but again, it's only my opinions. Leave yours down in the section below, the comment section below, and obviously, you know, it's all my opinion. My opinions are, as I've always stated, on my own. They're not, you know, I'm not paid to say this by anyone. I'm not paid to, you know, whatever. I'm not paid at all. So I'm taking my time out of my day to do a video such as this, and obviously other videos and whatever, but I enjoy it, so it's all good. I mean, the next game is, you would say it's a more or less a foregone conclusion, because I think City, as I've mentioned in the review of last week's video, which will be up at the same time as this, that City have and always will be the team to beat due to their financial situation. And obviously I know teams are getting closer to City, and obviously what they think they're getting closer. I mean, obviously I know Liverpool ran them very close last year, and thank God, you know, that they weren't able to do the double as such, or, you know, win the Champions League and win the Premier League as well, because that would have been absolutely intolerable. I don't know many Liverpool fans at that, so I'm kind of lucky, but it would have been just on social media, it would have just been absolute chaos, and I think we all can agree on that. With what I said about City being the team to beat and always being the team to beat, I see them taking this quite comfortably, earning, again, you know, it seems to be a reoccurring theme that I say vital 3 points at the start of, or as an early point of that, where, you know, where we're at this season. City to win 4-0. That's, I know it's, you know, again, you'll probably get the ones that I say, oh, it's quite unrealistic, or it's quite, you know, stop playing FIFA as such, you know, or get off FIFA and whatever. And it's like, look, you know, that's just how I see the game going. It may not. We all know, and I found out last year, you know, that how hard sport is to predict. Not necessarily just sport, like not necessarily just football, but actual, you know, just all sports in general. You know, the cricket. Who I don't know if you guys are following the cricket at all. I've started doing obviously a cricket series. Obviously, feel free to go and check out the very first video, and obviously, you know, watch it all the way through to sort of see what I thought about certain things, and obviously, you know, certain key points in the test, and obviously certain, you know, up until right now. But sport being just so unpredictable, it's mentally, you know, really quite something really. But I'm giving it my best shot. You know, obviously I'm putting my thoughts out there for you guys to possibly shoot down. Who knows? You know, it is what it is. Perhaps some of you actually agree with me, but yeah. Newcastle against Watford. Again, another 3 o'clock kickoff. Most of these will be 3 o'clock kickoffs, unless I state, you know, obviously like Sunday games will be, I think, like 2 o'clock and 4:30. But they're very two evenly matched sides. So I've gone with a 1-1 draw. I know it's, you know, you could say, trying to sort of think, you know, you could say I'm sitting on the fence. You could say like, oh, you know, you should go with either way. But again, you've got to realise that there's not always going to be a vast amount of goals in games. As much as the Premier League is the highest standard of football, I think, contrary to other, you know, obviously, but again, it's only my opinion, you can't always expect there to be vast amount of goals. So I've gone with 1-1, Newcastle, Watford, Desmond, 1-1, 2-2, I don't know, whatever. You know, actually, thinking about that, I'll say 1-1 and it'll end up being 2-2, so I'm going to change it. I'm going to go 2-2, just so I don't have to edit that out. It's gone 2-2, yeah, peace. But the next game's West Ham and Norwich City. West Ham United against Norwich City at the, well, wherever they play, the Olympic Stadium or whatever they call it now. The way West Ham and the volume of players that they brought in, you know, they invested a lot of money in, well, obviously, I mean, they were given a lot of money from, you know, Arnautovic's sale, and obviously they've got a lot, I think they've got probably more money than, not necessarily people will give them credit for, and people would like to give them, you know, like, I suppose it is, like, how much money they've got is obviously perhaps not a true reflection of where they finish season in, season out, but they're stable, and they, you know, they never get relegated, and they, you know, hopefully, touch wood, again, because they're another part of the Claret and Blues, so, you know, as such, I've got a soft spot for them. I don't really know why. I know it's a really silly kind of soft spot to have as such, but I've got soft support, actually, believe it or not, for both of these teams, because I like, the only reason is the kits as such, you know, it's you know, they're very vibrant colours and very nice, you know, very good colours, nice designs. But yeah, and I think also it helps that they've got one of, I wouldn't say the greatest players that I saw live, but he was certainly a great player when I did get to see him live, and that was Jack Wilshere. You know, he's obviously once a Gooner, always a Gooner. And I've got West Ham to take that 2-1. You know, so that's obviously, again, you could say, oh, like, you know, there's a lot of volume of goals being predicted, but again, this is only predictions. This ain't, you know, don't take this, you know, don't take my word as gospel. Trust me, don't want to be doing that. Last game on Saturday, which is half kickoff. It's Burnley against Liverpool. I've just, you know, hit you with a few different points. I think Burnley are not going to have enough to stop. I mean, we didn't have enough to stop the Liverpool's barrage, but it's it's not a bad thing. It is obviously a bad thing for your team, but it's not a. There's no shame in losing to Liverpool. They took Man City really all the way, you know, last year. So there's no shame in it at all whatsoever to, you know, be to be beaten, because obviously and only when if you're beaten and you go down fighting, yes, I understand that and I get that, but when you're beaten, you just roll over, and obviously you make silly mistakes, and you're the architects of your own downfall. So it's kind of like, we know we could have been 1-0 up, but even just use the example of last week. We played Liverpool, Arsenal played Liverpool. David Luiz tugs at Mo Salah's shirt for whatever reason. He obviously understood the reason, because obviously why would he do it otherwise? But it made no sense to pretty much 99% of Arsenal fans. But again, it is what it is. We move forward and we go again. Obviously, Arsenal go again against Tottenham this weekend, North London derby. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Liverpool, and again, I think because no matter how tricky Turf Moor is as a playing there as an kind of an opposing, the atmosphere is it is what it is, and it's it makes it really tricky for opposition to come there and obviously play their natural game. So, but that being said, I don't think Burnley are going to have enough to stop Liverpool's front three, front four, front five, whatever you want to call them. They are a settled side, but that being again not settled enough to be able to stop Liverpool. So I've gone with Burnley 1, Liverpool 3. That's I think that's about as fair as I could make it. Getting on to Sundays, there's only 2 games on Sunday, starting with Everton against Wolves. So we've got obviously two stable sides, 2 really settled sides. Both teams done, I would say they've done bits in the summer window. And to be fair, Liverpool, Everton come out come out of the window really, really well. They come out and they've done. To be fair, they've done decent. They've done decent business. I mean, probably not decent bit of business they did was signing Iwobi, but obviously that's down to my own opinion and whatever. But I think these 2 teams, I mean, we certainly know they're most likely going to be fighting for Europa League spots, and that's what they would hope, both of them. That would be probably a goal of theirs. At the start of the season, you'd obviously outline where you expect to finish and where you want to finish, but obviously I think out of the 2, Wolves have got probably a higher chance because they've got a higher conversion rate as such, or they've got a higher maybe a higher win percent chance of converting those kind of last 5 minutes, grabbing the winner from like a 1-1 scenario. But I've got this to go 2-2. I've got this being locked at Desmond. I think that is how I see the game going. It's it's one of them where I don't know, you're not quite. It's not. I don't want to sit on the fence, but it's not not as easy. And obviously, like I said earlier on in the video, that the video kind of and being able to predict them on video is, I don't know. It's to be fair, one of the hardest things I've ever done. I know it's obviously like you're probably thinking one of the hardest things you've ever done. Like it's not. You don't have to do this, obviously, and whatever. But it's me wanting to upload more, and obviously wanting to increase the content and wanting to increase the input of myself to yourselves. Whether you take any of what I say on board is obviously entirely up to you, and that's obviously if you want to do you, that's cool. But the final game of the weekend obviously culminates and wraps up the North London Derby Part 1. I'm not going to say too much here because obviously I'm going to do a North London Derby preview which will be live at the same time as this, so I'm just going to do a few different, just as what I've done from the... I'm not going to go into grave detail because I will on that video, so obviously probably going to be the end of the video here. I'll just touch on just a few things. I mean, form goes out the window when these 2 sides meet. I think it's going to be rude for me not to, well, it's not rude for me not to be, it's against my own code for me not to predict Arsenal to win. If you haven't already realised, I'm a massive Arsenal fan, and obviously all the predictions going forward, I necessarily don't, they are realistic to an extent, but they're not also as well, so just bear that in mind whilst watching the videos. It's I've predicted Arsenal or Tottenham to take it 2-1. I've got to go with my head. My head is saying it could be 2-1 Arsenal or it could be 2-1 Spurs. So yeah, with that being said, your boys out here. I'll see you in the match preview, and if you've come from that to watch this, well then obviously what's good. I hope you guys all enjoy these videos that I've got coming. They're all going to be ranging from really kind of longer videos to sometimes bite size, but bear with me, this is something new, so I'm trying to sort of gauge an idea of how long and how short you guys want these videos. So let me know in the comments if you're here for just any video, any any duration, any whatever. Well then I appreciate you obviously, and yeah, I appreciate you all. 150 subs. I just clocked this morning. Really appreciate you all. So I hope we can. The next one is 200, obviously. So it is what it is, and what it is, I guess. So talk to you guys when we're older.